My name is Joe Messler. Obviously, we're all fine patriots here. Me and my friend Nick, who's here somewhere, were the ones who took the reins and at my kitchen table began what ended up being a 3,000 person event on the 19th in Buffalo. You know, you can sit there and be discouraged by the numbers that are here today, but what you should take heart in is the fact that there's so many events that are being planned, regardless of how discombobulated it got for a certain period of time, and how there was people that want to go on the 12th, the 20th, the 28th, today. We were very focused on this because it was a national event, but just keep in mind that there's that many things going on, and look at that as a positive. And you know, in 5.5 days, me and Nick, and then I called up Russ Thompson and his wife Jewel, who's here as well. It took us 5.5 days to get 3,000 people to show up in downtown Buffalo. On the same day, you guys here had about 5,000 people. And this is happening all across the country. But we are, as somebody here put it earlier, we're ground zero. This is New York. Our governor is so highly motivated to violate your rights that he decided, I gotta beat Obama to the punch, and I gotta have an even more strict and a more controlled environment for firearms in New York. We all go around and we say things like, what part of do not infringe does he not understand? And you need to stay focused on that, because the Second Amendment is what all the other amendments depend on. Because when you can't protect yourself anymore, then all the other ones become optional, and I'm sure everyone here understands that. So I'd like to thank Gordon Kemp. He's one of the person I talked to that, you know, about me talking here today. I'd like to take a very serious amount of time right now, a moment, and say thank you very much to anybody here that is a veteran of our United States military. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. They're the ones that laid everything on the line to protect our freedoms. All right. I also want to talk about unity. Now, if you look around at the people here, a lot of us, we're from Buffalo, so we don't know almost anybody else that's here. But we have to understand and come to grips with the fact that for a very long time, the two-party system in the United States of America has divided and conquered the people. While we were expecting our government to have our best interests at heart, they parceled out our freedoms in backdoor agreements in places like this to benefit only their own political aspirations. We have to understand that we're not liberals and Democrats and Republicans and conservatives. We're not gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, whatever it might be. If you believe in the Bill of Rights, then we're all in this together. Amen. It's not about party. Sometimes that can be a hard thing to grasp and say, I'm so different from this person over here. But that's really what the rights are all about. If you look back, and a lot of people who say, well, our founding fathers were all Christians, not really. Thomas Paine was an atheist, and he did some of the finest writing. But he believed that we should be able to worship God as we see fit. And that's important to remember. Now we have reason for hope now, because after one night waking up and realizing that I was a criminal, even though I didn't recall committing a crime, people that actually go after the bad guys, like the National Sheriff's Association, have decided they were going to make public statements in support of the kinds of things that we're doing right here. The sheriffs believe that we have Second Amendment rights, and they want us to maintain those rights. I was coming home from the Super Bowl, and I was watching at my friend's house who's escaping to Tennessee because he's had enough of here. And, well, maybe he is smart. I guess I have, you know, maybe I have an affinity for sinking ships, but I'm trying to stick in it for the long haul. And there was a state trooper DUI checkpoint. And the state trooper looks in the car and he looks at me and goes, you were the guy on TV, right? And I said, for what? He said, for the gun rally. And I said, yeah, that's me. Now I got my family with me. I shouldn't have those feelings of trepidation when I'm looking at a police officer, when I don't drink and I don't do drugs and I've done nothing wrong. And then he looked at me and he said, we want you to know that we support everything that you guys are doing. Do I really need it?
The next person like you don't.
So even in the backwater of Buffalo, because from those of you who are from downstate, we seem like a bunch of hicks. It's not all farmland. We even have our sheriff in our neck of the woods in a very, what we call liberal area, that has come out and made a statement and said, no, we won't be counting the amount of ammunition in people's clips or magazines. And we don't plan on doing anything like confiscation. That's a violation of your Second Amendment rights. So show them the support that they should have. There's a state trooper over there right now. Tell them, thank you very much for being a protector of our freedoms. And let them know that we're behind them. And then our military, that goes without saying. But we should take the opportunities, in my humble opinion, since our public school system has so horribly failed to educate our children on what we actually are as a country, which is a constitutional republic and not a democracy, and they can't sit up there and vote my rights away. And let those new soldiers and those new police officers that are coming up in the ranks know that this is about rights, that this is about America, and that we have those rights that were given to us not by them, but by God, and if you don't believe in God, by nature.
Right.
You can't take the teeth out of a tiger and the claws off of his paws and expect him to be able to live out in the wild. And if you expect me to live in a society where there's maniacs that do horrible things and not have the ability to protect myself, then I should be able to pick up my cell phone and call a police officer. Until you can put a cop in front of every house, you're wrong, that's wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
So our government decided to draw a line in the sand, and they said, we no longer serve you, you serve us. And they feel that if they just give us a timeline, that we'll register our firearms.
Never.
That we'll turn in our magazines.
What magazines?
That we'll be good boys and girls. And we will abide by the rules that they set forth for us.
Turning us into
The only gun rights that I need, the only permit that I need is the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and all the rest of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, that's right.
We can have a lot of different cries as we go forward from today to the other events that I absolutely encourage everyone to go to every one of them. I'll be back here on the 28th with a sling on my arm after I have surgery, and Nick's going to have to drive because I won't be able to.
I'll be here.
Because we need to make sure that our government understands that one of our rallying cries is we will not comply. There will be no... So I'll just finish with this. Don't let small numbers today discourage you from going forth next time.
Hell no.
Convince your friends that maybe aren't as committed to the cause as you are, that snow and rain and traffic shouldn't stop them from attending events like this.
Mailman can do it, so can we.
That's right. Amen.
They're losing their jobs on Saturdays.
It's Friday.
Each one of us
So-
represents hundreds of people that were afraid to come out because of the
You're right.
weather.
The weather, absolutely.
We represent hundreds.
If you haven't gotten used to the snow yet, come down to Buffalo, we'll teach you. So, with that in mind,
Blowers, don't throw it over the bank. No. I'll stay right here.
I'm over the blizzard, actually.
with that in mind, stay strong, stay committed, stay in touch with each other. Make sure, like Jetty did from Rochester, that you have phone banks, that you keep in contact, that at the drop of a hat, when there's politicians that are doing things in the middle of the night, we can inform each other, this is going on, let's show up there, and let's let them know we're not going to take it anymore. So, God bless you.